Thanks for reminding me for that. Okay, so etiquette means it is a set of rules. Okay. And why do we have rules? Or let's rephrase the question. What would happen when you don't have rules? Let's interact right from the beginning, okay? You can go on, unmute and talk, or you can put it in the chat also, but let's interact. What would happen when you don't have rules? Imagine you're driving on the road. There are no traffic signals. There are no policemen. What would happen?
There is no control. We can't able to control
Yes.
the person.
Yes. There is no control. Everybody will do what they want to do. But when there are rules and it is enforced that it should be followed, and they see that many people are following it, they don't want to be the odd person out. They'll follow it. So that's the importance of etiquette, which is a set of rules, especially in a business. It becomes all the more important because we are using the office premises or we are doing professional work. So with that, I'm going to pause by. I can see Vigneshwar and Pragadish who has joined. Since they are new to me, Pragadish, can I request you to introduce yourself and please be on video also if possible. You can say your name and when did you join this organization. So that will do.
Yes, Jasmine. I am Pragdish from Chennai and
Mhm.
I joined November 1.
November 1 only.
Yes.
So this session will be more relevant to you because you have joined very, very recently. All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I can see Vigneshwar on the video. Do you want to introduce yourself? I think you're also new.
Hi, I'm Vigneshwar. I'm from Pondicherry.
Okay.
I am also joined number one in this organization.
All right. Wonderful. So from Pondicherry, you moved to Hyderabad, is it?
Yes, I'm new to Hyderabad.
Okay. And I've been visiting Pondicherry for a training, for a client training. So from such a nice place like Pondicherry, you have moved. I know it will take some time for you to adapt, but then because of work, you'll get used to it. Okay. All right. Thanks for the introductions. And I'm also happy that you joined this session and your beginning sessions are this one because you have just joined. Now, etiquette, we all know the meaning, set of rules, okay, to ensure that we all follow the uniform path. Now, this is just for the benefit of Vigneshwar and Pragadish. This is a brief introduction about me. I'm a certified NLP practitioner, which stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. I'm also an aspiring coach, I can say. I'm pursuing my PCC, which is Professional Coaching Certification. And I also have an organization called the Top Talents, which is into training and coaching. So this is briefly for Vigneshwar and Pragadish because the others already know me. Just to ensure that you're in safe hands, I wanted to give you a gist of the profile. Okay. Expectations, we all know, very simple. Listen, because listening is the most difficult thing, especially in a virtual platform. When you listen, you will learn. All right. So keep your attention span high. It's going to be only 90 minutes. And interact because when you interact, you'll feel involved. Okay. If you're going to be silent, what happens is it'll become passive because your body is not moving, your mind is not moving into it. You will feel a little detached from the training. So your involvement, your benefit would come only when you talk. Okay. Talk something. Don't worry about right or wrong. Just interact. Okay. And then when you interact, you will find that the session is more engaging. And in that way, you will have fun, or else it will be boring. It is like a two-way transfer of information. Okay. So it's not just the facilitator and the content, it is also your presence, which makes the difference. Now, this is our agenda. We will see what is business etiquette, the definition, why we need it, which we already saw. And then we will see when you're in office, how you should believe, when you, behave, when you're in lift, how you should, go ahead and use it. Meeting, virtual meeting as well as personal meeting. And we'll also see handshake etiquette, okay? And then dress code, some do's and don'ts, and some scenarios which has been cherry picked by Vijay. All right. And etiquette might have more than this, but in 90 minutes, this is what we can see. All right. So definition of corporate or business etiquette, it goes hand in hand, is this. I'm going to take one of your help to read it. Gopi Krishnan, can you read this definition for us? The one in blue color, please.
Yeah. Definition of corporate etiquette. Corporate or business etiquette refers to set of social norms and guidelines that govern professional behavior in a corporate setting.
Oh, thank you so much for reading it. The definition is self-explanatory. Okay. So I'm not going to explain that. But let's see why corporate etiquette is important. Okay. Um, Seshadran, can I request you to read the slide, please?
Yeah. Why corporate etiquette? To maintain professionalism, exhibit appropriate behavior, good manners leads to good impression, respect for personal space, contribute to a positive work environment.
Absolutely. Okay. So the first point is professionalism. When you're in college, there were some rules which you had to follow. Okay. Similarly, when you're in office, there is some rules which you need to follow. This is to ensure that we all look like professionals and not somebody on the road. Okay. And then when we set rules only, appropriate behavior will come. Let's assume, you are at home. It's not necessary and mandatory for you to greet the others. Like you don't have to necessarily say good morning, good afternoon. Okay. Very rarely family members do that. But when you're in a professional setup, that greeting comes. So that's an appropriate behavior. Somebody is doing something for you, you're saying thank you. That's an appropriate behavior. So all this comes in a professional setup when we follow some etiquette. And then that leads to good manners. And when people are behaving really good, you also have a good impression. When you're new and right from the beginning, you're very courteous, you're very polite, your line managers, your team leaders will be noticing you. Okay. Anything important comes, they'll say, oh, he handles really people well. I think we can ask him to speak to this person. So that kind of responsibilities will come in only because of your good behavior itself. Skills comes next. Yeah. And then it'll also make you to respect others' personal space. Okay, personal space is what? Let's assume you are going to office and working. Most of you are doing that. And when another person is standing, irrespective of the gender, there is a personal space. That personal space can be measured by extending your hand like this. Let's assume I extend my hand. From here till here is the personal space. You should always stand in that distance with the other person. If you go a little closer, if you observe very carefully, the other person will take a step back. Try doing that with the same gender. Okay, opposite gender you do, you'll get beaten up. Yeah. So with the same gender, try doing it. Unconsciously they'll take a step back unless and until they're very close friends. Okay. So that hand distance is the space which you should leave when you're talking to the other person. So far, any questions, any opinions you want to share? Does this make sense? Does it sound useful to you?
No questions from my side.
What did you say, Madan?
No questions from my side.
Okay, okay. All right. I can also see thumbs up. Okay, keep using the emoticons. That's the purpose of the virtual network. Okay. Now, let's start with office etiquette. I heard from Nelson that you should be working from office only. So I'm glad that I put the office etiquette also. I'm going to take your help to read it so that I can involve you. Okay. Now, Madan, can you please read this slide for us?
Yeah, sure, Jasmine. Let me know my voice breaking on. Yeah, office etiquette. Keep your desk neat and tidy. Keep the door open for the next person. Be curious,
Courteous.
courteous. Be courteous. Say please, thanks, thank you. Use the office resources with care. Don't eat and speak on the phone loudly in the canteen. Keep the washrooms clean. Avoid workplace comments.
Romance. Okay. Madan is wondering, okay, did she put it really here or by mistake it came? All right. Okay, let's start from the last point. Do you have girls also working in your office setup? Because only boys have come for this training. No?
No,
Sadly, no, is it?
only
Okay. Sadly, no. All right. So this is just a point for your information. When we work with the opposite gender, it is natural that you might like certain people. Okay. It is natural. We are human beings, right? However, see to that you do not bring in relationships and fight, okay, or like say something romantic in the work setup, which might make the other person feel uncomfortable. Okay, the other person might think, oh, he has a relationship I don't have. Okay, he might go into that mode also. Yeah. So keep it very, very neutral when you are there, even with your friends for that matter. If you have a misunderstanding, coming here and sitting with a long face is not professionalism. You need to sort out all your things outside office. When you're in office, you are colleagues. And after that, only friends. So keep that thought at the back of your mind so that you will not allow your emotions, personal emotions, to crowd your work related things. Yeah. And I remember when we were raised as children, if we don't keep the washrooms clean, our parents used to literally knock us on the head. Okay. So when we have that kind of situation at home, when we are in office, even without our knowledge, sometimes we might think, oh, there's housekeeping, they'll clean it. You take personal responsibility that when you are using the washroom, you will leave it clean. However, if it is unclean, then you can always go ahead and request the housekeeping to clean it because it's their responsibility. But say it very politely. Either way, it's your right. Okay. And I have seen a lot of people when I was working from office, when they are during their lunch break or any break, they will eat, the mouth will do one work one side. Here they'll have the food, and the other side they'll keep the phone and they'll be talking to somebody. Okay. Now, when I go tell them, respect the food you eat, don't talk while you're, eating your food, they'll tell me, I don't have time. Okay. During the break only, I can talk on the phone. That's completely understandable. However, for you to eat your food, how long will it take? Will it take 30 minutes? I don't think so. You're not babies, right? It'll take one. We have got teeth to chew and eat. So it'll take maximum 10 minutes. So respect the food because many people don't even know when they're eating what goes into their mouth. Yeah. So that's not respect for food. Yeah. So when you see the food, even when you're working from home, also the same situation only, do not club it with anything else. Yeah. Just bless the food, eat it, make it healthy for your body, finish it, and then move on to talking or whatever you want to do. Try to do this practice. It will really help you. You will become more healthy also because you're respecting the food. I know it might sound philosophical, but I have tried it. It has worked for me. Okay. And use the office resources with care. Let's assume you have a printer at home and you have some papers. If you have to take one printout, how many times you will check it over and over again, and then you will give the correct printout because you don't want to waste paper because money is going from your pocket. Whenever I'm saying you, I'm referring to me also. It's a generic opinion. Okay. I also have a printer and my daughter only usually takes it for me. She'll ask me 10 times, give me the correct format, give me the correct format because she doesn't want to take it again and again. She doesn't want to waste the ink. So when we have this mindset, similarly, when we are in office also, we should value the office resources. Just because there is one giant printer, there is a lot of papers, it doesn't mean you can just like that give some 2, 3 copies, check if it is coming correctly, and then give the final copy. At some point in life, we would have done that, right? During my beginning career, when I was in training, I had to take printouts. I have done that. Attendance formats and all that. I have done that. Okay. That's why I'm telling you out of experience. Never waste office resources. It can be anything. Okay. And then how many of you say please and thank you in office with your colleagues? How many of you say whenever there is necessary, please and thank you?
I'll say thank you. That's it.
Okay. All right. And the other person, what will they reply back or reply?
Just laugh. They'll just laugh.
Just laugh. Okay. So somebody is saying thank you. You can also say welcome. All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just for the other person because you have already said thank you. Please, do you use please when you're requesting for something?
Yeah, of course, we use please.
Not just in emails. Verbally also, do you use it with your colleagues, not just with your customers?
Yeah, if it's required, we will
It's
definitely use
required.
the please. Yeah.
Even at home, when I ask my daughter to do something, I use please. Okay. It comes naturally for me because we keep training people on these. We preach and we practice the same thing. Because if these two are different, it becomes difficult. And whenever I request it that way, I have seen the probability of her doing it is high. If I don't request, if I just say, take the printout and give, the probability of her doing the task is very, very less. Okay. So human psychology, all this is. Please, sorry, thank you doesn't cost you anything. But do we use it? Because our culture is like this. Down south, we are raised in such a way that these kind of courteous words don't play a major role in our life. When it comes to the native speakers, back in the school itself, it is a part of their culture that for everything they'll say please, thank you, and sorry. So it is also a cultural trait. Okay. Here I have a question for the second point. Yeah. You are walking fast in the office. You are going for something important. You are in a hurry. Yeah. You open the door and there is a person who is coming behind you. Will you keep the door open for the next person only if it is a lady, or for a guy also you will keep the door open? I know you don't have girls, just imagine and say. Did you understand my question? Should I say it again?
Hey, Jasmine, can you repeat the question?
Yes, I can. So you are going in a hurry. You have something important to attend. You are opening a door and you can see that somebody is also walking fast and coming behind you. Should you keep the door open only if it is a lady behind you, or you can keep the door open even if it is a guy? Not able to hear anything. Are you guys talking?
No.
Karthikeyan, would you want to say your answer for this?
I think we have to open for gents also, but in our office, I think every door is with ID card verification, so we don't want to open for any other person. It's
That's another important point. Good, good. Okay. Canteen door also has access card.
yeah,
Canteen
everything.
door also has access card.
Everything is access to the.
Everything has. Except the washroom. Everywhere it's access card.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So thanks for bringing in that point, because back in the office I worked, the canteen doors don't have that access card because the canteen door near the pantry is the washroom. So usually that did not have an access card. So two things. If you're going to use the access card, obviously this point doesn't even come into the picture. If you're using a door where there is no access card, it is generic. When you're opening it and you see somebody rushing behind you, irrespective of the gender, whether it is a guy or a lady, you are supposed to keep it open. That's again being courteous. Okay. I worked with, I think Vijay and I worked here in this office. It's called a CSS Corp. Have you heard about this office? CSS Corp. It was called earlier
Yeah.
slash support. You have?
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you, Rajan, for that answer in the chat. Irrespective of gender, we need to hold the door when somebody comes in. So this happened for me, okay? I went to the canteen, and when I went, there was another batch who was okay? It was not one person, batch who was coming behind me because they had their break also. Since I was the first person, that's a heavy wooden door, okay? I opened the door and I kept it open till all these people can go in. Okay. And not one donkey stood by to say thank you to me. All of them happily went in. Yeah. I'm calling them donkeys because they did not say thank you to me. And like a mad lady, I kept the door open. I was thinking, what is happening? Yeah. So it is basic courtesy that we keep the door open irrespective of the gender. And if you happen to pass by, you can always say thank you to the person. Little things, but it makes a huge impression. Okay. And I work from home predominantly. If you see my desk, sometimes it will be very, very shabby. Okay. Because when we are working from home, we use the work desk not just for working. Sometimes there will be coffee cup there. Sometimes, there will be snacks. Sometimes I will keep some other bag there. It'll all be very cluttered. But I cannot afford to do the same thing when I'm in office, because let's assume there is a client visit suddenly, or somebody is coming to the floor just to see, and your work is like work desk is held up with so many things, papers, pens, all scattered here, there. Doesn't look neat. When it is not neat, that is also not part of being professional. All right. So all these points, it might look very simple, but they are very important. Do you want to add any other input which I have missed? Because you guys are working from office, you will know better. Anything else you want to ask us a question or pass a comment? Okay.
Yeah, I think everything was covered in this point.
All
So I
right. Fair
think
enough.
being gentle
Sorry,
is one
say
of
it
the
again,
points.
Nelson.
I think it would be gentle in the workplace. That's the
Yeah.
point I would like to add here. So
Be
because
very
sometimes
polite with
people,
others.
yeah,
Yeah, say
polite.
that.
Sometimes people
Ah,
may be rude.
ah,
So when someone approach the over in person or phone, it's definitely you should be in reply in a gentle way. That
mm.
comes under this category. I think so.
Yes, definitely. It comes under here. Okay. We need to be always polite. Yes. Not just in office, in meeting, in every interaction you have with the others. Not just only in a professional environment, anywhere for that matter. Be polite with the other human being. Okay. Thanks for adding that point, Nelson.
Hmm.
With that, we will move to the next one, which is lift etiquette or elevator etiquette. Do you work in a floor where you need to use the lift to go to your floor, or how is it?
Yeah, we usually walk on the 14th floor. It's basically
14th
we
floor.
depend on the, yeah, we are usually
Okay,
depend on the lift elevator only.
definitely. Yes, 14 floors. You can't walk, you'll faint with it. Okay. All right. I'm going to take someone else's help to read this. Um, since it's a lot of points, we will take two people's help. Rahul, can you read the first 3 points for us, please?
Lift etiquette. Uh, avoid taking the elevator up and down just one floor.
Hmm.
Note or speak a hello, but mostly write silently.
Yeah.
Avoid throwing trash on
Crash on floor.
trash on floor.
Okay. Thanks, Rahul. Okay. Now, your cheapest gym. Okay. Your cheapest gym is the staircase. I read this in one of the client offices in Pondi. Okay. The cheapest gym is staircase. If you are working out of a floor, which is like just you're in the first floor or second floor, avoid using the lift because you can climb up and climb down. And I used to do this when I was working with Tech Mahindra. I was working in the second floor. So usually you climb up and climb down. Okay. So forcibly you don't have to exercise. You can use these kind of opportunities to exercise. But 14th floor is a different story. You can always use the lift. And when you are in the lift, sometimes you might get reception, sometimes you might receive calls. My suggestion would be do not take calls when you're inside it. Just try to ride very silently because it's a very closed space. It'll be a noise pollution if you keep talking continuously. All right. And there are certain people only inside the lift, they'll remember suddenly they have a chocolate in their pocket. Okay. They'll take the chocolate, they'll remove the wrapper, they'll put it in the lift. So it doesn't make sense to throw trash anywhere except the dustbin. And when I was saying this point, one of the associates in a training, he said, why don't they keep a dustbin in the lift? That was his answer. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, you guys know that sometimes the lift is like a town bus, right? It is so crowded. In that, each one is standing in one leg. Yeah. Trying to accommodate the other person. We are packed. Where is the space to keep a dustbin? And who do you think will come inside and also unclean? Unrealistic expectations, all that is. Yeah. Try to see where are the dustbins. Put the garbage there. That's the best thing. People can't keep for your convenience everywhere. I realized this when I went to a supermarket. I saw a small dustbin, only this tall, okay? Very cute it was. Just because it was cute, I bought it and came and I kept it on my desk. So sometimes I used to write a lot of to-do lists. So when the list is completely checked, I tear it and I put it in that dustbin. And when it is full, I'll put it in the main dustbin. That's different, okay? Because it was nice, I bought it. or maybe like, every time you have to get up, it distracts you. You can do things like that. But don't expect just because it's office, they have to keep dustbin everywhere and the housekeeping should end up cleaning everything. Okay. Wherever it is possible, you keep it neat and tidy. Have that accountability because that's going to be our next topic for next week. Yeah. So the next 2 points, Palani, can I request you to read it, please?
Hey, Jasmine. Do not write or draw on the inside or outside walls of the elevator. Food or drink should not be consumed during elevator lights.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for reading that. So our people, some of them, especially nothing against Pragadish or Vigneshwar. I'm talking about some new, fresh college pass outs. When they come in as a batch, a training batch, when they're like 20, 25 people, they are going into the lift. They'll all become excited. They'll become Picassos. Okay. They'll start drawing on the walls of the lift. They cannot ride very silently. They'll become very naughty. They'll start doing this. This happened in reality, okay? In one of the lifts where I went, on the roof of the lift, okay, the ceiling of the lift, not the roof, ceiling of the lift, I saw a shoe imprint. Can you believe it? Shoe imprint. Okay. Yes, right there, mother is looking at the top. So nobody's like a Jackie Chan where he can lift his leg like that and keep it. They would have removed the shoes and they would have kept that imprint. So look at the naughtiness. So when you're in a group, it sometimes comes, but do not do things like that. Many lifts have cameras, okay? And it doesn't look nice when they give you a feedback for something like that. Not part of professionalism, okay? So do not scribble anything. I have also noticed this. Some of them, if it is really a tall building like yours, they will remove those that lift buttons, that floor buttons, okay? If you want to press one, in the place of one, there will be three. Okay, in the place of three, there will be five. They would have interchanged those lift buttons. But not all lifts come like that. But then the office where I worked, Tech Mahindra, had a very basic lift. There I saw all these naughtiness happening. Okay. So treat office property like your property. Yeah. And one more point is food, usually we will not consume. Yeah. Try your best not to consume. If you have a chocolate or chewing gum, that's fine. But when you're finishing the chewing gum, don't stick it on the wall of the lift and go. Yeah. Because these are all things which comes for us. Remember your school days when you have ate bubble gum and then under the desk, the wooden desk, you would have stuck it. Has anybody done things like that? You will stick it under the desk or the chair. Yeah. Maybe you guys are very, not naughty people, but I've seen people do things like that. Okay. So Rahul read it, Palani read it, correct? Or Lokesh read it? Who read it earlier? Rahul, right?
Yes.
Okay. Lokesh, can you read the last 3 points, please? From here, always
Jasmine.
excuse yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Always excuse yourself instead of pushing to get out. Second point, please hold the elevator door if you see someone approaching the elevator. And third point, avoid boarding a crowded elevator.
Okay. Thank you. So, as I said, many people treat lifts like a local town bus. Okay. They have this fear, oh, if this lift goes, then next one, it'll take a long time to come. So, what they'll do is, even if it is crowded, they'll try to squeeze inside. Okay. They'll come in such a way that they'll lean on you comfortably. I remember once going into a lift and it was so crowded, I was standing almost in the corner. Since it was getting crowded, there was another lady. She thought just because we are of the same gender, she can lean on me. Okay. She was comfortably leaning on me. I told her, excuse me, can you stand a little further away? I felt bad saying that, but I also felt bad that somebody is leaning on me. So that space is there, right? We can't give one arm stretch space in a lift like that, but at least you should not lean on the other person or breathe on the other person. Okay. And even if you sneeze, you need to be careful. And there was another incident where I was in the lift and there was a training batch which came in and they were trying to take a selfie. I'm also in the corner. Okay. I don't want to be a part of that batch's selfie. They are not my batch also. Okay. And I felt uncomfortable. So I told them, can you take a picture after I get down? Okay. So I said it politely, but it is also my rights that I voice out my opinion assertively to them. All right. I can't just like hide my face and stand there and all that. So you can see that how certain things can make the other person uncomfortable, which we might not even notice. So if you see a lift pack, just wait outside. And this can also happen. Sometimes what will happen is, let's assume you want to get down the 14th floor or 15th floor. Certain people, again, like a town bus, they'll stand near the exit only. They'll stand near the door. They'll not go to the corner. Okay. That you don't have to do because you are going to get out late. Because they are worried what if like they don't get space to come out. Like the Saravana stores lift here in Chennai, sometimes it becomes. So if you are also standing near the lift controls, okay, if you are standing near the lift controls, every place is packed, there is some space, somebody else is newly coming in, you can ask them which floor. So you can press it for them, okay? If you don't do that, what can happen is those people also sometimes won't ask. They will try to poke and you are standing there, right? They try to bring their hand towards you, you will feel very uncomfortable. So it's better to offer them. And it's also being courteous with the other person. And certain people, when they're traveling in the lift, they will not know where to look because it's so closed. Yeah. And they'll start looking at your ID card. Has this happened to you? In a lift ride, somebody staring at your ID card? No?
Yes.
They might try to read your name or they might try to see how you're looking in the ID card picture. And where does your ID card hang? Sometimes on your abdomen. Yeah. And you don't feel good when somebody's staring at it like that. So try your best not to stare at people. Just have a glance, just say hi and then move on. Just look at yourself, look at your hand, think about something, look at the ceiling. Yeah. Do not make the other person uncomfortable. See, lift, we travel for few seconds or a minute, but there are a lot of things which we can convey about our professionalism because right from the peon, housekeeping, to us, as well as the CEO or the owner of the company or the client, everybody uses that space. Any other points which you'd like to convey, which maybe crosses your mind? Nelson, anything else which you can think of?
Yeah, no, Jasmine, as of now.
All right. Okay. Vigneshwar and Pragadish, all these points, do they make sense to you? Does it sound useful for you?
Yes, Jasmine.
Yes, it's useful.
Yeah, because these are all a little different from the college life. Yeah. Now comes meeting etiquette. Okay. Both in person as well as virtual meeting, we will see. I'm going to take your help to read this slide. If I'm not calling out your name, you can volunteer and you can read it, okay? Because I'm just trying to see whose name I have not called. Srihari, can you read the first 4 points for us, please?
Be punctual, come prepared, actually participated, ask questions at the appropriate time.
Yeah. Thank you, Srihari. So being punctual, very important. Many of you here before the meeting or on time you join. See, that's the importance of time. Imagine you have to catch a train to your hometown. You're all working in Hyderabad. Some of you might be from Chennai, some of you might be from Pondi or other places. Now you need to go back to your hometown from Hyderabad for a vacation. You have a train which will start at 6 a.m. Okay. What time will you be in the railway station? What time will you be in the railway station?
4:30.
Half an hour. Half an hour
Half an hour before?
before.
Or did you say 4:30, Karthikeyan?
No, Nelson said 4:30. I think he's well in
Okay.
advance.
Yeah, well in it. At least 1 hour before, half an hour before, you will be there. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you have paid a price and you don't want to miss it, and you don't want to reschedule and collapse your entire schedule because you think about the consequences of you missing the train and you are there well in advance. That is the same respect you need to give for any activity, which is professional activity also. You don't have to be there half an hour before, at least be there 5 minutes before. Sometimes if you have seen people, even when they're coming to office, they'll rush and come. By the time they come, they'll be breathing so hard, they'll be like suffocating. You'll be wondering what happened to them. I saw this happen even for a train. Okay, we were traveling to Bangalore and we were all boarded and the train just started and there was a guy who rushed and came in and climbed and came into the train, just like how it happens in the movies. And then for at least 2 minutes, he was holding on to his heart. Okay, he was holding on to his heart because he was breathing so hard and his heartbeat was so high that he kept his hand on the heart and he was standing there. And we couldn't stop laughing. Okay. One of my friends, she said, it was a Tamil conversation. She said, "Idukku seekiram varano." Okay, which means this is why you should come early. And he also smiled at us because he knew that he did that because of this circus which he did. Yeah. So there is a lot of possibility when you hop onto the train, you can go under the train also. Can happen. This happened in my life. Okay. My brother and I, we were traveling somewhere. I don't remember where. I was young. He was also young. He usually walks faster than me. Okay. So he walked faster. He boarded the train. I couldn't walk as fast as him. And it was the right time the train began to start. And there was this guy who was standing in the near the door of the train, that particular compartment. He was wearing only a lungi. Okay. And, he was like normal loadman or something. And when I was about to climb, because the train is already moving, okay, I was about to go under the train. He lifted me and he helped me. And after that, he did not even expect a thank you. He started looking outside again. He did not expect anything. Yeah. So there are possibilities that these things can happen. So when you pay attention to your personal life and the time, you value it for certain things like this, pay the same respect for office related things also, whether you like the meeting, whether you don't like the host of the meeting, whatever it is. Be punctual, come prepared. If they are sending you an agenda, if they are telling you like, this is what you have to read before you come for the meeting, do that. Many people after coming to the meeting, they'll sit there and they'll nudge their friend and ask, meeting edapati, what is the meeting about? Does it look nice? Yeah. And then in the meeting, actively participate, similar to the training. Whenever there are opportunities for you to ask questions and they are saying, okay, you can ask questions, you can go ahead and ask. That's why we are saying ask questions at the appropriate time. In meetings, since it's like 30 minutes or 15 minutes, they will tell you towards the end, you can ask your question. So wait for that. If you are thinking, I might forget that question, have a notepad and pen handy, write down that question so that you will remember till the end also. Okay. Now, the next 4 points, the last 4 points. Who has not read? Pragadish, have you read earlier?
No, Jasmine.
Okay, the last 4 points you can read, please. Avoid tapping pens from here.
Okay.
Pragadish, I think you're on mute. Are you able to hear it, guys, others?
No.
No?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Yes. It's avoid tapping pens, rocking the chair, keep your phones in the silent mode, test technology before meeting starts, be on mute while not speaking.
Okay, thank you. So these are all unconscious activities, okay? This tapping pens and rocking chair. When you're in a meeting and sometimes, we get bored, isn't it? Because the host alone keeps talking most of the time in meetings, office meetings, and it's the same agenda formatted, monotonous meeting. So even without your knowledge, if you have a pen, you might tap the pen, or if you have a clicker pen, you might keep clicking it. Or if you have a chair like this, you might keep rocking the chair like this, or you might tap on the table. It can happen even without your knowledge. So when you're in a professional meeting setup, observe your body language and try to keep your gesture like this. Okay. Can you see my hand? All four hands, four fingers crossed like this, and then I'm keeping my thumb together like this. This is a gesture which can give you a lot of positivity. You can also Google it later. Most of the TV news readers, anchors, especially in BBC and other channels, they will keep their gesture like this. Okay, like this. Like this, they'll keep. Sometimes like this, they'll keep. So in that way, you will also avoid touching your phone or clicking the pen or doing any unnecessary activity. And obviously, phones in the silent mode, whether it's virtual or a club, in-person meeting, and test the technology if it's a boardroom, and keep that part of the mic on mute while you're not speaking. Okay. We'll also see the virtual meeting etiquette a little later, which is after this slide. But in this in-person meeting, do you have any other inputs? Because you will come across a lot of meeting, right? So do you have any thoughts or questions on how do I do this in a meeting? Should I avoid? Should I continue? Any questions like that?
So respecting the other's opinion is one of the point.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
if someone says a valid point, first we have to acknowledge that point and we have to understand what the person is trying. That's what the meeting etiquette speak also. I think so.
Yes, yes. So let's assume the host is speaking and you have a difference of opinion of that host point. Okay, and your turn comes where you can share your points. You can acknowledge that point and you can say, how I would like to add this. So in that way, you are not affecting the other person's opinion also, whether it's a host or your colleague or anybody else's for that matter. Okay, so that's a very valid point. Yeah.
And Jasmine, one more
Yeah.
point.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Being punctual is yeah, but what if we in our office we book a room for example at 3 p.m. but before 2:30 to 3 some other guys will be sitting inside. They're booking and they will be sitting inside. So being punctual need to attend before 5 minutes or before 2 minutes or before a minute. But those guys will attend till 3 or sometimes maybe 3:05. It will takes 3:05 time also. So we need to how to approach the clients after going late, bit late, 2 minutes, 3 minutes late. Is that okay? Just a sorry or apologize.
There is an uncontrollable situation like this, and because of that, you had been late. You can always start with an apology. You can say apologies for this delay. Sometimes you don't have to say the reason, but if you have an emergency kind of reason, you can say that. Because all this, if you say, it will sound like you're complaining about the previous team. Yeah. And if there is a workaround, okay, you know the previous people well, you can also tell them proactively. 3 o'clock, we start the meeting. So if you can just leave the hall 1 minute before also, it will be still okay for us to join on time. You can request that way also. Okay.
And and if what we are in the place of them and someone is knocking the door before 5 minutes, what the
Then you
host
can tell
will.
them. Then you can tell them you will finish the meeting on time and you can leave. And if they want to be seated, they can be seated. Or if it is a confidential meeting, they can wait outside. So that the buffer clash will always come because let's assume 2 to 3 there is a meeting, and then 3 to 4 there is another meeting. That in between that 5 minutes is always a clash. I remember attending a training. It was supposed to be over by 6 o'clock, in-person training, and the facilitator finished it by 7. Okay. I was very unhappy because it can be 5 minutes or maximum 10 minutes also if it's in person and nobody else is waiting. But 1 hour late is like too much, Though the training was extremely good, since it was 1 hour late, I couldn't stop forgetting about that. Yeah. I kept telling everybody the training was nice. However, it was late. I kept saying that, and I analyzed, what am I saying? There were 100 good things, but I'm still talking about this one bad thing. That's how trainees will be. They'll remember what impacted them in a negative way for a long time. Yeah. So set the expectations. Maybe if it is possible, that buffer of that 15 minutes, you can leave and then start the meeting whenever you have this clash. And when you see a pattern, if it is possible, you can do that also. Okay. All right. So we will move to the virtual meeting etiquette. Some of the points might be repeated here. Think Palani read, Rahul read. Rajan, may I request you to read the first 3 points, please?
Virtual meeting etiquette. Check all the devices before meeting. Sit in a quiet room and join on time.
Okay. So check all the devices. Thanks for reading that. Check all the devices, especially when it is a virtual meeting. You will have your laptop. You need to have the charge. You need to have the headphone. You need to check if the mic is working. All right. And then sit in a quiet room. There are certain meetings where it happens in our office. You can hear the cooker whistle sound. Yeah. Because they might be sitting here next to the kitchen. Or you can hear the dogs bark. I have a Pomeranian, a very bad variety of dog to have. When he starts barking, he will never stop. It will be there for continuously in 5 minutes. He'll feel even thirsty after barking because he barks so continuously like that. So whenever he comes to my work desk, sometimes he'll come. Okay, I'm in the upstairs. He'll be in the ground stairs. He'll still come. So I will tell him, if you bark, I will lock you outside. Sometime he'll be okay. But then it's the instinct of the dog, right? When somebody is opening the gate, he'll start barking. Then I will put him in the corridor. And then when I'm logging into the meeting, I will tell them, I can hear my dog bark. If you can also hear, I'm really sorry. So sometimes they can't hear because he's in the corridor, but I can hear. So all these things happen in a virtual meeting. When we are working in the house, there are so many things crowded. If it is something which you cannot avoid, you can proactively say that there will be a little bit of disturbance. Yeah. But if you say that every time you log in, then it becomes a little challenging. Try to find a quiet room. Yeah. And dress professionally. Okay. I remember Anand Mahindra's post somewhere a long back before this work from home all happened. I mean, during the time the work from home happened, he was all in his blazers and then he was wearing a lungi. Yeah. So at least if you are seen till here, be professional. Yeah. I remember this. I was in a meeting with one of the managers. She is from France. Okay. It was a one-to-one, so it was completely okay. And she said in the middle of the meeting, I'll just warm up my tea and I'll bring it. And then till this, she was completely professionally dressed. And when she walks out, see, I did not intend to see her, but then I'm there as the only person, right? And she's going with her shorts. So you can make a person uncomfortable. Yeah. So see to that you either don't get up if you're dressed like that, or you be in your professional attire completely. If I say this, you guys might even laugh at me, but still I don't mind saying it. For every work from home day, okay? Sometimes I go to office and work in a week one or twice, or otherwise mostly I work from home. During the days when I work from home also, I'll be completely dressed up in a professional attire. Okay. I'll have my makeup on, I'll have my kurti, I'll have my formal shirts, all that. One day, there was a relative who was coming, and it was a Thursday or a Wednesday. And then I went down. It was somewhere around 11 o'clock in the morning. And that auntie looked at me and asked, Jasmine, are you going out? I told her, no, auntie, every day, though I'm working from home, I'll be like this only. Okay. So she was laughing at me. So that's because it is proven psychologically also that when we wear a professional attire, our mind also adapts to that professionalism. So that's why, they say a book is judged by its cover. So the way you dress also has some impact on your mind. Yeah. And speak very, very clearly and concisely, because in a in-person meeting, at least you can look at the lip movements and understand to some extent. But when it is a virtual setup, when you're relying completely on devices, it becomes very difficult for the person to understand you if you're very fast. So speak very clearly and shortly, precisely. Okay. And be on mute while not talking, and phone on the silent mode. These two are repeated points from the previous slide. Anything else which you can think of in terms of virtual meeting etiquette? when you're connecting with people virtually over the phone or Teams or whatever software you're using.
Yeah, Jasmine. In a meeting where there are 10 to 15 people, suddenly another meeting came for me. So do I need to actively stop the meeting and say an acknowledgement that I will be leaving, or just I need to leave a chat and leave the meet?
Okay. The second meeting which is coming up, is it a critical meeting or is it a overlap meeting?
Oh, it's a critical meeting. Let's say a ping from higher authority. Join to meet at.
Okay. So let's assume, there is no pause. Somebody is already talking. You can't interrupt them. Then in that situation, you can mention the reason also in the chat, saying this is a critical meeting, which I might not be able to skip. Hence, I need to hop off. I will listen to the recording, something like that. And then you can hop off. It's fine.
Oh, okay, Jasmine.
That's a valid point. Thank you. What else?
And I need to have a backup for the data. What if else, like we got power cut or Wi-Fi was lost? Yeah, at that point, I don't.
Okay. So if there is power cut, you have very less charge left. You might get cut off. Is that what you're asking, Mother?
No, cellular data. Data was speaking about Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Okay.
If power was gone, power cut was happened, Wi-Fi may disconnect. We need to connect via hotspot, right? No, we used to do for that, so that's why I want to tell the point here.
Okay.
Sometimes
So
in the
that's okay.
meetings,
Mm.
yeah, we used to do like that.
Mm.
Suddenly power cut was happened, so we used to connect via hotspot.
Mm. Okay. All right. That's fine because that's the only choice, isn't it? When there is a power cut, Wi-Fi is gone. You don't have a choice other than connecting it through mobile. And there is a lag or delay because of that. Coming back to the call, you can mention that. I think that has happened here also in our trainings, isn't it? But see to that you put that later in the chat so that the other person will not get confused as to like why you were away.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. Any other points? All right. So let's move to handshake etiquette. Okay. If you have observed our Prime Minister Modi, most of the time he will do the first handshake. Okay. Somebody will shake hands with him and then he will take the other hand also and keep it on top of the hand of the other person. Okay. Not always, but if you observe for certain places, he does that. It's a dominating handshake. A prime minister can afford to do that, but not you and I, especially in a professional setup, either with a client or with a colleague or with your line manager. I will tell you later what is the right handshake, but what you see on the slide are not the appropriate handshakes. And the second one, which is shown here, is a fingertip handshake. Okay. Since again, handshake is not a part of our culture, we are more into this, which is Vanakkam or whatever it is called as. And this is how traditionally we used to greet people. Handshake is not a part of our culture. But now that we are collaborating, working with different countries, handshake has come. So you can go with the flow and shake hands with people. Since, sometimes we are shy, certain people will not give their complete hand. Okay. Or they will also not hold the other person's complete hand. Hence, it will become a fingertip handshake. It will be very, very slight like that. Or if it is an opposite gender also, sometimes people feel shy and they just like touch the hand and leave it like that. And then the third one is a bone crusher handshake. Some people will try to show their confidence in the way they shake the hands and they'll end up breaking the hand of the other person. Especially this has happened with me. Okay. When I was with Tech Mahindra, there was a trainer who came from Noida and she was so short. Okay. I have to actually look down and talk to her. So short. But the way she shook my hands, I had to literally rub my wrist for a long time. because she was giving her so much of a tough handshake. It was bone crushing. She was trying to show her confidence. And then she also did this every time in the day she meets me, she will shake hands. So from the second day, whenever I saw her from a distance, I will run away in the opposite direction. So people can avoid you for your handshakes also. And there was this incident where I had a manager who was an Anglo Indian, okay, and there was another manager who came in and they got introduced. And I know the second manager also, he's a very genuine guy, okay. And this guy shook hands with her. Till the time he finished his introduction, he never let her hand go at all. It is called as a pumping handshake. Like this hand pump, you keep pumping. You also keep rocking the hand like this till your introduction is over. And she felt very uncomfortable. Yeah. So the next time onwards, she never extends her hand to this person. And this person is a genuine person. He did not have any other intention. It's just that he got carried away. As he was talking, he was just kept shaking the hands. He did not know what was the right handshake. So everything you do in a professional setup talks about your professionalism. And we need to be very careful and sensitive also. Here comes the question for you all. When there is a lady and a guy, can the guy extend the hand first for a handshake, or should he wait for the lady to extend the hand? When there are opposite genders, should the guy wait for the lady to extend the hand, or he can initiate the handshake first? What is your thought?
So he can initiate the hand first. There is no issue in that. If there is no gender discrimination is maintaining in the corporate etiquette, I mean corporate office.
Absolutely. So we are talking about diversion and inclusion, gender equality, all that. So in a professional setup, in that it is not a typical factory or a school, it is a corporate setup, then the guy can extend the hand. It's absolutely fine. There is no rule that only the lady should extend and all that. Having said this, I have also experienced this in the Muslim community during some times or something like that. They don't touch another woman's hand. Okay. So there was this late Anglo-Indian colleague of mine. She was trying to shake hands with everybody. And there was this Muslim manager. He said, I don't touch women during this time of the day. And then she felt very offended. She said, neither do I want to touch you, she said, and then they went off. And it did not look nice. Okay. So if you have something like that, you can also do this and then politely tell the other person, according to my religious belief, this is how it is. It's fine that way. But you need to be careful with your choice of words, how you portray it to the other person. Again, culture, religion, all this comes when we are bringing in some other country's practice here. Yeah. But then we are collaborating and working with other countries. So some common practices is already come into the corporate. So we are just adapting to it and learning the right way. That's all. Before I could tell you what is the right way of handshake, can one of you tell me what is the right way of handshake according to you? What is the right way of handshake?
After COVID or before COVID?
Now, we will talk about now.
I think just normally, even I too don't know. Just normal handshake is the.
Okay, so he asked after COVID or before COVID. See, I remember Sadhguru's speech where he was talking during this COVID time, and he was saying, this is why, our people invented this way of greeting where I keep my germs with me, you keep your germs with you. No extending hands, he said. Yeah. I remember that when Madan asked that question. So the right way of handshake is one, see, if it was a classroom session, I usually make people to come to the front and demonstrate it. Now I don't have the liberty. Okay. So a firm handshake is just when you need to have this space. Okay. Extend your arm and then have the space. You shouldn't like lean forward and all that. Okay. Extend the arm and then the other person extends and then you hold the hand. Okay. Just one firm handshake, exchange of eye contact and a smile. And then you can take your hand and then you can completely introduce yourself. So when you are shaking that hand, maybe you can say, hi, I'm Jasmine. And then you can take your hand and then you can introduce yourself further. But you don't have to keep rocking the hand till you completely finish. And let's assume there are other possibilities also that the other person might not leave your hand. Correct? Okay. So don't snatch it away. Maybe they hold it a little longer than you. It's fine. And then you take your hand away. Somebody is giving you a bone crushing handshake. Please do give feedback to them on a very lighter note, not before everybody, maybe in person. Because the strength, okay, people have are different. This is something which I observe. I have very soft hands, okay. So when somebody normally gives a handshake also, I find it to be very difficult, okay. If they give me a firm grip, it's uncomfortable for me. So you can also go ahead and see to that you don't show your strength in your handshake. It comes unconsciously, people, these kind of things. You are trying to show your confidence and you are thinking that strength displays confidence there. Okay. It is never that. Firm is not stiff. Firm is not crushing. Firm can also be gentle. I really appreciate our people, who kept this as the gesture. Many problems were solved, right? Okay, so the appropriate handshake. In a picture, I was able to show only this. And then one firm nod, eye contact, smile, and then take your hand and you can start introducing yourself. Now comes introduction, okay? I'll give you another scenario. There is a client, okay? Let's name him as client A. And there is this manager who is in your team or whatever team, manager A. Now, client A is meeting manager A, and you are the person who's supposed to introduce them to each other. Handshake and all, they'll exchange, leave it. But you are supposed to introduce them. So, my question to you is, will you start your introduction with, hi, client A, this is manager A, or will you start your introduction with, hi, manager A, this is client A? How will you start?
The first one.
The first one. Okay. Why, Nelson?
Yeah, the top priority should be done, give towards the client.
Okay.
The first greeting should be addressed to the client.
Okay. Fair enough. Any other points? Any other opinions? So, do you mean to say, Nelson, that to the manager A, you will introduce the client first? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not like that. If the scenario both will intersect together, if the client entry into the meeting room, so definitely we can first, the top priority will be given to the client. So by greeting them, right?
No. And that was not my question. You are the introducer. Okay. There is no one else, no meeting, nothing is happening. You are maybe like the host who's bringing the client and then you are making him to meet the manager. So client A, manager A, and you are here. Will you introduce the client first to the manager or the manager first to the client? That's my question. Is the scenario clear?
Yeah.
But what you said is right. You will introduce the client only first because hierarchy comes in. All right. You can also Google it later on. The higher authority is introduced first. Okay. Just an additional information. This can be part of your etiquette also. You might not come across situations like this, but nothing wrong in knowing it. I can see Maheshwaran and Rahul left. Assuming it is the Wi-Fi. Okay, so this is the summary of all that I said. Okay. Nelson, can I take your help to read this, please?
So a handshake is firm and brief. Shaking hands occur when introductions are made. Men and women are equal today in the workforce. So a woman can always extend her hand when meeting someone. So a handshake is appropriate upon meeting on a street, at a social function, or in a business setting. A good handshake shows your confidence as well.
Okay. So dress code for women, I have not kept because this is an all men team. So dress code for men alone I have kept. It goes without saying, formal, professional attire. Okay. And during your that weekend, like Friday, Saturday, business casual is allowed. Neatly pressed clothes. It shouldn't be crushed here and there. An iron box doesn't cost much. Okay. Neatly pressed clothes. Wear clothes suitable for the weather. If you are in a place where it's always summer or most of the time it's summer and you will sweat a lot, wear cotton clothes. It is pointless to wear something in polyester and then keep sweating and the sweat is not absorbed. Very uncomfortable. And have a very conservative haircut. If you like to grow hair also, just trim it and keep it neat. It shouldn't fall on your eyes or like that. Yeah. And then clean shaven face, trim nasty hair, which means some religions they grow beard during the Sabrimala or maybe like some other auspicious days. Even if it's like that, then keep it neatly trimmed. Don't look very shabby as if you have not bathed at all. Okay? Keep yourself neat. Nails, even for guys, it has to be neatly maintained. Even if you grow nails, just ensure it's neat. And when you're wearing a dress, try to see the color coordination. If you're wearing a light color shirt, wear a dark color trouser and vice versa. Okay. And use deodorant because we sometimes do not know if we sweat, if we smell. So in a professional setup, whether you like it, some people don't like deodorant. Okay, whether you like it or not, just apply it and come because you don't have to make the other people feel uncomfortable. And ensure that the deodorant is so strong that the other person may faint because of that smell. Some people will have deodorants which are so strong that it will give a headache to the other person. Okay, so choose something which is not like that. That's why avoid strong perfume or cologne. And if you look at the picture, this guy is wearing a red socks. Can you see that? Black, brown, or more appropriate. And if you see the second picture, this guy has a tattoo on both the hands. And it is even in the HR policy that visible tattoos are not allowed. For example, your face, your hands, your neck, these are all visible parts where the tattoo should not be there. If you have it somewhere here on the back, nobody can see it, that's your choice because it doesn't give a professional look. I remember working in one of the organizations where if I sit here, I can see the entire floor. And it was a US process, and there was this guy who had colored his hair green in the middle. Can you believe? Green in the middle, and the side yellow. And I can see his hairstyle like that, and I was like so scared. I asked one of the fellow trainers, the HR won't say anything, is it? Oh, he did all this after he joined, she said. So it doesn't give a good opinion, yeah? People get scared looking at you. So maintain yourself in such a way, in one thought that I should never make the other person uncomfortable. I should look like a professional. So far with me? So just a gist of the dress code, yeah? Business formal, business casual, smart casual, casual. I'm also going to share all the slides with you. Some do's and don'ts, okay? This is a summary of all that. Okay, so I'm going to skip this and go to the scenarios. There's no extra ones here. We'll talk about the scenarios. The first one is using proper greetings. Let's be very honest. Do you greet people at work? Do you say good morning, good afternoon according to the time you're coming in? Do you greet people?
No, Jasmine. You will normally
Yeah, yeah.
say
Warm
hi.
greeting like hi, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Karthikeyan said.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, hello.
All right. And do you greet your colleagues alone? Do you greet your line managers also? Or do you feel hesitated to greet them? How is it? Sometimes, again, this is a culture back in our, it's going to some stereotype thoughts. Some people think, oh, if I often greet my supervisor or line manager, he or she might think nice, Vikran and Shponga. They'll think maybe I want something from them. This is a stereotype thought. Okay, I'm not saying you guys have it, I'm saying in general, Because of that, sometimes they don't greet. Only if they talk, they'll talk. Not necessary. Everybody in the organization, to display professionalism, you can always greet. Right from the housekeeping to the CEO of the company, you can greet. And in a day, 10 times don't say good morning. That doesn't look nice. Yeah. Second, usage of power words. Okay. Lack of acknowledgement will lead to dead air in conversations and non-usage of verbal nods. Okay. For example, again, this is a cultural. Yeah. In India, we are so used to this head movement. When somebody is asking us a question, we'll say yes. Okay. Sometimes we'll say no. Sometimes for yes also we'll nod and we'll confuse the other person. So this head movement is called as babbling. Okay. Sorry, bobbling. Okay, this head movement is called as bobbling. This the native speakers don't understand. Sometimes what happens, you might be talking to them over the phone and you might nod as an acknowledgement, but they can't see you. And they always believe in verbal acknowledgements. So have a lot of verbal acknowledgements to your disposal. Don't just always say okay or yes. Say all right. Say certainly. Say I understand. Say absolutely. Okay. Say I agree with you. So never allow dead air. More than 30 seconds, if there is a gap, that's a dead air. Dead air means absolute silence, as if you're not alive on the other side of the line, the person feels. That's why it's called as dead air. And certain people will use words like, uh-huh, okay, very casual. Don't do that. Yeah. I remember when I was working with Hutch as a call center executive, I started my career there. Whenever customers are talking to me as an acknowledgement, I'll usually use okay. That's the only word I knew. And one customer, okay, gave me a feedback. He said, Jasmine, you sound like a parrot. I know some of you are thinking, even now you sound like a parrot. Every weekend coming and training us on something. Yeah. So and he said, you're always saying okay, okay. And when he said that, he did not tell me what should I do about it. Okay. But I took his feedback. I checked with my soft skills trainer. This is the feedback I received. What do I do? She said, okay, variate your acknowledgements. Use words like all right. Use words like certainly. Use words like absolutely. So then it was easy for me to go ahead and correct it. And my calls also sounded nice. This is again a very small thing, but it makes a difference in the quality of your calls. Right? Privacy and security at work. Gopi Krishnan, can I request you to read these 4 points, please?
Sure. Privacy and security at work. Mandatory hours attempted and complete courses. Don't share your passwords. Don't share personally identifiable information to all. Think twice before you share your screen.
Absolutely. Okay. So you guys are highly technical. You know why this is displayed. Yes. So if it is something is mentioned as mandatory, whether it is boring, you don't like it also, you will go ahead and do it because this is not your company. This is someone else's company. Hence they can set rules and we are here to follow it. Yeah. But when you began your own company, you will be empowered to start your own rules. So that's how it works. Okay. So we are employees. So we follow it. Even I don't like mandatory courses like what is that? GDPR and certain other courses. It really bores me. Sometimes I can't even crack them. 2, 3 attempts I will do. And then that day I'll close it. Some other day I'll do it. Because sometimes it's very tough to finish it also. Yeah. So people go through it. But when it is mandatory, what? And then there will be a feedback link which will be given. If you find the course to be monotonous, if you find the course to be irrelevant, you can always put your comments in that feedback. Yeah. Because in my organization, when we put comments like that, they actually simplified it. They kept it in such a way that they gave us some tests in the beginning. If you crack those tests, 5 topics, you don't have to do. Straight away, 6th topic, you can do. So that change, how did it come? Because many employees gave some feedback. Right? And in your profile, you may have to share your screen sometimes. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes.
You have to. Okay. So share it with caution on your desktop. If you have some password saved or maybe something personal saved or professional, which is not supposed to be viewed by the other person, then see to that you close all those windows. Use it with caution. What is this third point? Even I don't understand it really. I'll take your help. Do not share personally identifiable information, Paul. What does it mean?
Which means that your commercial, I mean, your house address, where you actually belongs to. Uh,
Mm.
so, for example, if any new person coming to the office, they are doing the deep dive where he is come from, right? So
Mm.
that comes under the whether they want to know about their hometown address. So
Mm.
that's all comes under the personal identification information.
Okay. All right. Maybe credit card details, things like that. The next segment is share versus don't share, right? Seshadharan, can I request you to read this, please?
Yes, I can share and forward common mailers like fire drill exercise, flu shots program, and Holland's mailer to my coworkers. However, I can't share and I can't ask anyone to share offer letter and pay slip, which is a policy breach.
Okay. Thank you. So this is pretty clear, right? I don't think any explanation is required. Whenever you're sharing, just think about the consequence of you sharing to the recipient. What can be it? If the consequence is not sensitive, if the consequence is not breaching the confidentiality, then go ahead. Otherwise, if you have slight hesitation, also don't share it. And I have experienced this. Sometimes you want copies of your pay slips. Usually, how do you take those copies? You're working in an organization, it has a portal, you have the pay slips, you're just saving the pay slips, right? Like, anywhere you go later on, also they'll ask the last 6 months pay slips or 3 months. So you need the repository. So you want to keep this somewhere in your personal storage. So how would you save it?
Google Drive. I'll save in my
That-
Google Drive.
Okay. Everybody has that option where you can access from your professional desktop or laptop Google Drive and put it there. Is it allowed? Or you don't need your pay slips at all. You don't save it that way. I save it. That's where I was asking. Because sometimes for tax, we need to check how much has gone and all. So anything personal, you want a copy of it. Okay. Just put it in the Google Drive. That is better. Some people will use their professional email ID and send it to their Gmail ID. That can land you in trouble. So see to that you don't do things like that. And then the last situation is about pronunciation, right? Palani, can I request you to read this, please?
Yeah, Jasmine. Scenario 5. Pronunciation of client or user's first name or last names at MNC is of utmost importance. What will you do if you find it difficult to pronounce the customer's name? Carlos,
Yeah,
Gigio,
go ahead.
Liz, Joanne.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Palani. So my question is in the middle, which is what will you do if you find it difficult to pronounce the customer's name? Leave the names here, okay? Any name, you would have come across a lot of difficult names because again, culture plays a role. They might find it difficult to pronounce our names, and we might find it difficult to pronounce their names. So you have a customer's name, which is like maybe Bob Rapsinski, okay? Yeah, and you find it very difficult to pronounce his complete name. Let's leave Bob. Bob is easy to. Brzezinski is only his name. Now you find it difficult to pronounce. What would you do in this situation?
So you said earlier, I think we have to ask the customer, ask the
Say
client.
it a little loudly, please, Karthikeyan.
We have to ask the client how can we pronounce his name.
All right. That's a good suggestion. Okay. Because a person's name is music to their ears, rather than mispronouncing it, assuming that it is pronounced that way. If you have a doubt, you can ask the customer or the client, may I know how do you pronounce your name? Okay. Because when I work with German customers, they have sometimes very difficult names. One person's name was, I will put it in the chat. I still can't pronounce it. And then this was the first name. Okay. This was the first name, and the last name was impossible to even for me to type it. And then I asked her, may I know how do you pronounce your name? She said, call me Cal. That would do. I told her, you made my life easy because I was wondering how to pronounce your name. She smiled and said, many people have that difficulty. So I make their life easy. Call me Cal. So you never know. The customer can help you with an easier version of the name. Okay. Now these names here, can you tell me how are they pronounced? Randomly, you can pronounce each one name. Let's start with Nelson. Nelson, the first one.
So Carlos.
Carlos. Okay. Madan, the second one.
Diego.
Okay. Rajan, the third one.
Louis.
Okay. The yes is silent. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Sorry about the spelling there. I think the spelling is this one only. Not too sure. Okay. They also pronounce this as Louise. Okay. They also pronounced as Louise. So names come under nouns. So in certain places, they might pronounce it one way, and certain places, they might pronounce it another way. If you always have a doubt, you can ask the client. Now, this name, which is in the chat, some people pronounce it as Eugene, some people pronounce it as Eugene. And it is also used as a male name as well as a female name. Okay. And the last name, how is it pronounced?
Juan.
Okay. So Juan or Juan. Okay. The J is silent in some countries. The best solution is, as Karthikeyan said, ask the clients or the customers help. May I know how do you pronounce your name? The question should be, may I know how do you pronounce your name? Not how can I? Okay. Because can makes it look, you have a difficult name. How can I pronounce it? Like that intention. Okay. So may will be more polite.
Can you please repeat?
Yes.
Can you please repeat how to?
Yes. I will put it in the chat also, Rajan.
Yeah.
May I know how to pronounce your name? Because may I is the more polite version, then can. Can becomes ability. Can I say it or not? Like that. May I know how to pronounce your name? Specifically, if you want to ask, you can even put, may I know how to pronounce your first name? Because we address customers with the first name. Okay, so we are almost towards the end. These are some of the situations. There might be more, okay? Because with the stipulated time we have seen this. And if you have questions on something else which is popping up in your brain, you can always put it in the group. Okay, we can keep that way exchanging questions in the group also. So this is the summary of all that we have seen so far. I'm going to pause by 1 or 2 minutes. If you have any questions, you can ask me, please, overall, if you have any questions.
Can you go back to the slide dress code?
Yes. This one or the picture?
Yeah, this one, dress code for men. So
yeah.
I could see the last point, avoid strong collagen and perfume. I can able to understand what is perfume, but can you explain what is collagen? If you don't mind, if you give a comparison between the collagen and the perfume.
Yeah. So perfume will be the one which we spray. Okay. And cologne is like something like a roll on. I think in the old 1980s and all that, that Old Spice was there, where they'll just tap it like this and they'll just tap it like this. After shaving also they'll do. That's a cologne.
Okay.
Even in the medical shops, you just like that, just to see it, ask them, give me a cologne. They'll give you something which will not have a spray kind of thing, but a roll on kind of thing where you have to put it on your palm and it will stay for a long time.
Okay.
And deodorant will be a little lighter than the perfume. Perfume will be strong. Deodorant will be a lot more gas and it will spray hard. Perfume will be a little more stronger version of the scent. Okay.
Yeah, okay, Jasmine.
All right. I'm also going to put the feedback in the chat. For whoever it's working, please finish it now. Every time getting feedback from you is becoming very tough for me. Okay, only out of 10 or 15, 3 or 4 are giving. Okay. So it'll take only 1 minute, right? That's why I try to give it before the session. I don't want you to spend extra time. So finish it. Madan, if it's like not working for you, I can put it in the group and you can do it later. Others just go through it and finish it. You can feel free to share your thoughts on if there are any improvements
Yeah,
which can be made also.
yeah, Jasmine, I
Yes,
have
Nelson.
a different of
Ah,
opinion because
yeah.
we are scheduling at 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time.
Hmm.
So because if you changes in the time, it makes better because when we go with 10:30, it sounds good because most of the
Okay.
people are from bachelors. We are difficult to after 12:30. We are going for a cooking. It's really make tough. Why
Okay.
can't you
I'm
change?
fine.
I think
But
you can ask the
how?
wider audience.
Yes.
You can if any changes in the timing, if anyone have a different opinions, we can share with them. I think if anyone have a different opinion, I think I am
I
go
will
with the
put it in the
10:30.
chat also. Okay. Put your message in the chat. Okay. I want proof that later on people not coming 10:30 am not okay with me. So this is a suggestion which is coming. I am fine. So whoever wants to say okay, put it in the chat there. We'll take the maximum votes and accordingly we can change the time. I'm fine. We've got 2, 3, 4. I think we have got maximum. Okay. Because out of the 12 here, more than 7 people have put that. So from tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week, the session will be starting at 10:30 a.m. I will also update it in the WhatsApp. Okay. Is that fine?
Yeah.
All right, people. So thank you so much for listening to me today. I'll see you all in the next session. Whoever has not completed feedback, please finish the feedback and then log off because after that you will be busy in your cooking. Right, Nelson?
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. 10:30 is absolutely fine. Have a good weekend ahead, people. Whoever has their week off, whoever is working in the office, continue working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See you all. Bye.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Bye.
Thanks,
You're
guys.
welcome.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome,
Jasmine.
guys.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.